Okay, I'm going to do this one a little bit different. It's just sitting back a little further. Really tired. Now, I did another YouTube and it was supposed to come out a little better, but I decided to boost this one up. I'm going to show you your excitement of the younger Mona Lisa, and this is the older Mona Lisa. This is the X-ray that came out of the older Mona Lisa. This is a diary. I call it a diary. For those who, what I mean by that, it is a diary. Each pixel, and smaller than a pixel, to the main size, as you multiply it into trillions of images, not billions, trillions. This is not an understatement, and it's not even an overstatement. These are facts. That if you were to calculate the way in which he did this and follow my 685 YouTubes, with the last one and this one, I think it's 687. So I'm very proud of every single one. And you're going to see that the Mona Lisa's X-ray is in my painting, and I've just shown it to you in this one. Now I'm going to show you what I've been trying to tell the world even more. It gets so tricky, it is funny. Or not funny. You see this area right here. I'm going to show you the large image of that, and I'm going to show you that the X-ray behind it of my painting is of the doily area, which is the large section, which is this area. Now this actually spells out S-A-L-A-I. Now who would put that in a painting if it wasn't Leo? Well, Leo did. But what is very interesting, because his paintings move, and you have to follow my YouTubes to understand that, because I can't draw all of them in, you're going to see this cut line that goes through here, and how it gives you this shift. Here's this same cut line, and it gives you the shift difference between a gap and a gap. Follow me? Good. Okay, now you're going to see how this big S here, see this big curved S? Okay, in the darker of the greens or so, that's what this is, the curve. So now you've got two variations to go by: this V, this S, and then on top of that, you're going to see how you can the bleeding through of this surrounding oval is throughout here, so you can see the shift move. Not only, I know I'm getting confusing, but you see, because I'm giving you more than what you should, but the S actually moves an S, and it keeps moving all the way across. The doggy, I call it the doggy, which looks like a basset hound of some sort, is the same. It gives you a line of draw. Okay, so, and then I've shown you the rock man before. This is a rock man in a couple YouTubes back. So if I take this and I overlay it, the S, because I have to go a little higher because you lose a little, and when I go up into here, you can see that you have this variation of the V that allows you to start with the V and slide over. See? And you can see how he even does the S's for Salih. Here is an absolute perfect of how many times he spells his lover's name. Here's an S. Then he spells it again right here. And then he spells it in the white. Then he spells it again in the black. And then here's an A-L-A-I. Salih. You get lucky and you catch it. Okay, now in the Salih, and I'll overlay the S again. You have to fight to find it. But you'll also see these words up here that's going to be very difficult. But you'll see the 5 and the G that's going to come up. You'll also see this fireman hat looking dog riding this big old like cow or big old fat bull with a tuba horn. That's what it kind of looks like. okay, because it's so off blurred. Okay, so now we have that. I'm going to show you where those are when I do the color, but you can see the little boy. This is a little boy with big hair, eyes, and it goes, and this is riding a horse. See through here, you can see all that. So when you get to that, you have to fight to find it, because he's burying it on top of the, he's buried it with the Mona Lisa. So with that in mind, and this S in here, I pull this down and I go to image and I go to adjustment, and on this one, instead of going to threshold, I'm going to go to curves. Oh, excuse me. Go to image, go to adjustment, and I thought I went to curves. Yeah, curves. I must have hit. Okay. Then I hit extra option. And then I hit find dark and light colors. Hit OK. And then I move this off to the side a little. And then I play with it. Watch. You're going to see something that lightens up. Okay, what light up in blue? Whoops. Okay. Can you see this tiger that runs through here? So when I grab a hold of this and I shift it down for where it was, there's the tiger. You see this tiger right here runs with a big giraffe. Tiger with a big giraffe. Okay, now if you pull this back up, and you know it's going to overlay there, you can see this dark guy with an eye and eye looking this way on an angle. The same guy in the same circumference is in my man's head looking that way. Now I'm going to cut this out and show you that only if you're real lucky and how sharp your eyes are, when I overlay this again, you can see this 5, this G, this R, and it looks like an IIC, ET, and like LRS 5, so on. You pull this down, you can see the 5 right there, big old 5. Then you see another 5, okay, and then you see this G, okay, and then you will see other G's in there when you look real hard. Here's another G right there, okay. So again, the reason why you have so many 5s and G's and other numbers is, again, he wants to, when you get into the right position, you line them up with the same design 5. So so you got this big 5 right here, and you got a little smaller 5. You got a big 5 here, then you have this smaller 5 right inside with the G over the top. Then you have a funkier 5 look here, and a funkier 5 here, and a smaller, and then a 3, and so on. And that's what Leonardo da Vinci does. Now, right here is this 4. Here's a 4. And it looks almost identical to this 4. So we take it, we screw it, scroll it down, and we go over the top, which is like a 5, and you will see how he hides his work even clear out to here, because you see this face? This face has still got the same circumference here because he's moving across. And for you to understand that, here is what he is deliberately. And so when he's got the woman, he starts off here. and he works his way and he works his way down and over, and she ends off the page, and then at certain times in the painting she's moving to him and he's moving to her, and they're face to face, and you're saying, how come there's no distance in between them? It's because they met. He makes his paintings as a TV. Here's an example of some sort. Here's an eye and an eye with a face. Here's an eye and an eye with a face. These two are cheek to cheek. Here's a face, eye, eye. Here's a face, eye, eye. Okay, he keeps repeating his works. Leonardo da Vinci is 100% a television copy machine. My dad was a TV repairman. I know where it's coming from. I've been doing this type of thing. I understand it. I understand it, but it's extremely difficult to show with the limitations of the dollars in which I have for and the pixels and the high quality or low quality of the Mona Lisa. It is a very low quality Mona Lisa photo, even at 500 MB. I have 100 MB. Mine's 100 megapixel. Mine's 100 megapixel shots. Each photo is 100 megapixel shots. So for you to understand that of his hidden works, look at this. You see how this is a V in the darkness, and then it veers this way and it veers this way. That's a tiger's face. Those are ears. These are hidden innuendos, and it comes on down. Okay, so when you pull this down, you see the same lightness and color that is flowing in here that he has done. It's the twin. These are twins. But what you understand is that the Mona Lisa, if you were to do a book on the Mona Lisa and you put the front cover picture of the Mona Lisa on the front cover, you recognize her as the Mona Lisa. Yes. And then you did a book on mine and you put that as the front cover of the Mona Lisa. Yes. But when you open the pages and you go through the levels and you go through the transparencies and his hidden little innuendos and his hidden codes and his hidden like invisible ink as we known as a kid, they are the same when you catch the right pages together that open up his pieces. For an example, when you get the right camera and get to the right page, bam, you got the Mona Lisa in an X-ray. So when you get to the right page, which is, this is a page right here, and that's the different, which is very difficult, and this is a page. And what I'm trying to show you is probably 1% of 1%, probably 0.5% of 200 pages that equal the same. So when you pull this and you go up and you take a look at the giraffe alone, which is, here it is. Here it is. Okay, and the reason this veers like this and this doesn't veer, it does because he builds it like a cloud in transparency. And at certain times when you don't, it finds out that he did it on a tilt. He turned around and he gave that painting a slight tilt such as this. He tilted it at a 7-degree tilt. And painted it. He wanted his works to be very difficult. You'll find art changing all the time in every degree with Leo. He is so tricky. Now look at that. See? When you see this, and you see how this has a rod here and it goes up, look, here's the rod and it goes up. That's Leo. He does an overlay like Matrix. You take a Matrix card, if you remember, you're old enough to remember. Seems like all the 50 to 60-year-olds all really love this because they understand what I'm talking about. But you got to go back to school for you guys to understand. But what I'm trying to say is, if you took a matrix card and you punched 10 holes in it, you still got mostly cardboard. And the matrix card back then was our iPad, or our computer chip, or our SD card, or our thumb drive, or our disk, or whatever you may say. Well, Leonardo da Vinci would take that, and he would make that card have every single hole punched out to where when you put it in your hand, there was no more card. He covered every square inch, so no matter which way I turn this, you'll end up with this. But hidden love. It's kind of like here's a really weird one. Are you ready? Here's a really weird one. How many times you said I put a saw in a cake and I gave it to my friend in jail so he can bust out? Basically, that's what Leo did, but in hidden works. It's there. There's the saw. It's in there in the sense. This is a metaphor. So, or example, or some kind of distance for you guys to read. This is the greatest painting on the planet as a duet. That's two people. The Mona Lisa is the greatest painting on the planet as a single portrait. They're both Mona Lisas. They're both done by Leonardo da Vinci, and they both have his life and diaries in it. If you take a look, watch this when I reduce this one down, the one in the middle. When you reduce it down small enough and you really look at it from a distance, it's called depth of field. And what he's doing is he's making love to her from the backside. And so when you open it up, it changes. And not only that, there's a person here and there's a person here. There's the eye looking up. Here's the eye looking this way. Here's someone with a bird looking this way. These are little itty bitty people within. And this right here is a baby, side by side with the Mona Lisa. And who's the Mona Lisa? In my opinion, she's at least 5 people. Strongly, it's a Leo. But there is the word called stylist of an artist. And check it out and you will understand. Stylist is the interpretation of the individual, of the artist, that makes the image to be what he portrays it to be. So if you took an eagle and a pig and a hawk and a horse and the clouds and a tree, and you integrated it all into one substance, and you're going to say, I've never seen a varmint like that. That's right, it doesn't exist except through the artist. And that's why this giraffe-like item that changes into a tiger, that turns into a giraffe, that turns into a person, that turns into a Mona, is odd, and so on. So anyway, with all that in mind, I want to say God bless the whole world, the universe, the heavens. And I want you guys to wear your mask. It's getting violent out there. People are not listening. Between my neighbors, they don't understand, they don't read. They've been to school, I know. They're being absurd. If you have a problem, call the police. Don't handle it on your own. We had 300,000 people 24 hours ago. Yeah, it got infected the way I got it. I hope I read it wrong. But what I got to say is that we need to stay safe. Keep your mask on. Call your friend, your lover, your mother, your father. Tell them all that you love them. Give them a hug if you're living with them. Look at this. Here's a repeat. You see this big guy? This is a big guy, like a big ape, right? Aiming that way, right? Here he is again. Okay? That's what I've been trying to tell you. And here he is in the middle. And here he is again. It's like the 8 transfer. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all in multicolors. And I'm sure he portrays all the way off the sheet. That's a Leonardo da Vinci movie. Okay? And it goes a lot wilder than that. 687 YouTubes minimum. Almost 3,000 images that are identical. And it costs nothing to subscribe. You hit the thumbs up, you hit the notification bell, and you hit the subscribe button, and you'll not only be helping a religious individual and a friend, you'll also be learning and keeping everybody safe and distance. And on top of that, you'll be my friend, my secret friend. In Jesus' name, amen.